Hello again. All right, so back for trig ratio video number 2. So this one should be pretty quick because we're just going to refresh our memory about what those trig ratios are and then learn one more thing that we are going to do with using our calculator. All right, so remember those trig ratios that we had. The way to remember them were so, and I like to write it like this, right? Because that shows our fraction. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent, opposite over adjacent. So, ka, toa. All right, so let's just do a couple examples and then learn how to use that calculator to find the actual values. So sine of A, so here's our triangle, 5, 12, 13. You'll see these numbers pretty, they're pretty common. This is considered a 5, 12, 13 triangle, just different names that we have for these triangles. So sine of A, let's look at letter A, our opposite. Remember, always knowing that our hypotenuse is across from that 90-degree angle. Oops. So that's our hypotenuse and our adjacent. So sine, opposite over adjacent. For that one would be 5 over 13. Whoops, my bad. Opposite over hypotenuse for sine. Cosine of A is adjacent over hypotenuse. Remember, cosine A over H. So cosine of A adjacent is 12 over 13. These actually might be the same numbers from the notes in that last video, but good to see them over and over again. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So 5 over 12. The very last one then looks at letter or angle B. So now let's look at angle B. Hypotenuse is going to be the same. I'm going to label these sides in purple for angle B. Opposite is going to be this 12 now, and adjacent is a 5. So cosine of B, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent of B is 5 over 13. It's always a good thing to label your sides when you're starting out, so then it makes it a little bit easier. So that's a quick refresher of what we did yesterday. So making sure you have this part written down somewhere in your notes, or if you're using the note packet, making sure you can see that first note page that we did. If you wanted to write this on a sticky note to keep it next to you, that would be great. All right, so let's take a look at our other one. If you want to right away highlight that hypotenuse, find that 90-degree angle, look at the opposite side. There is, whoops, yeah, there we go, it made it straight. There is our hypotenuse, okay? Then let's look, sine of B. So now we're looking at angle B. Sine, remember, so, right? So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Find the opposite over hypotenuse. So 24 over 25. So if these numbers are bigger like this, it is nice to reduce our fraction. But for right now, we can't do that with this one. Okay, cosine of B, cosine adjacent over hypotenuse. So 7 over 25. Okay. Tangent of B again. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So opposite is 24 over 7. Then the last one, cosine of A. So now we're looking at angle A. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent for letter A now, or angle A now, we need to rewrite our sides or relabel our sides. Adjacent would be 24, opposite would be 7, and the hypotenuse always stays the same. So now adjacent over hypotenuse is 24 over 25. All right, I'm going to scroll down, and what I want you to do is try this last one on your own really quick. All right, so again, remembering our TOA, these should be pretty simple now when we do this. So looking at angle A, opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. Again, labeling that side, those sides help you. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so sine of A, 9/41. Cosine of A, adjacent over hypotenuse, 40/41. Now we're looking at tangent of B. So looking at B, we've got our opposite side, hypotenuse stays the same, adjacent is 9. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. So 40/9. Cosine of B, adjacent over hypotenuse is 9/41. Okay, so those are just setting up those trig ratios, which is pretty simple once you remember the SOHCAHTOA. Okay, then these down here are actually just, I'm just going to type this in here. What we're going to use for this is I don't believe your cell phone one will work for this. If you turn it side, it will work, but I do want us to use Desmos.com. So quickly, if I go to Desmos, so you can do it, type in Desmos.com. Originally will bring you up to this page here for the graphing calculator, but where you want to go is Math Tools and the little arrow, and we're going to click on Scientific Calculator. Okay, when we are solving these problems, we want to make sure this little slide bar has degrees showing, because we want to find the degrees of this. So let's go back to our notes. The sine of 48 degrees. So I'm going to type this in here. Sine of 48 degrees. Here's my answer, right? We can press enter if we want. So here's my answer, this one right over here. Okay, 0.743. And what I want you to do is round to 3 decimal places. So let's go back, 0.743. So I'm literally just going to write that in there, 0.743. Okay, I'm gonna side share these. Do you guys know how to do that? Slide your pages. Now this isn't working. So you just take it and slide it to it picks up half of it, then you pick the other one. All right, so let's take a look. Sine of 13. We're just going to type sine of 13, and you can press enter. So that one, now let's see if this works here, is 0.225. Oops, sorry guys, the dog. All right, so why don't you take a moment to try the other couple and go from there.